Issue 22, Combat Patrol. 2 new paints, but also some Aeldari lore. Hello and welcome to The Lucky Roll, an eclectic channel for eclectic games. And today we're going to be looking at Hachette Collection's Combat Patrol Issue 22. Now this is a paint issue, but it comes with 2 interesting paints, Everland Sunset and Catachan Flesh. However, the good thing about paint issues is it allows the issue to kind of give in some extra parts of lore. Now of course you have a how to paint guide using the 2 new paints that you've gotten, just to kind of touch onto the models that you already have, so it touches on all of them, so you can kind of brighten it up a little bit. But it also has a lot of lore on the actual Aeldari themselves, formerly known as the Eldar. So the Aeldari war hosts are among the most powerful armies in the galaxy. They strike fast and hard, they run down death and destruction on their foes, but they're not limitless. So with the Imperium, they control millions of soldiers at something and not really miss them. The Aeldari there's a finite amount of them left and they don't like losing soldiers. However, in the 40K universe, you can lose soldiers quite easily. So they don't go to war needlessly or kind of for no reason. And an awful lot of the things that their Farseers trying to do is they try to mix fate so that they don't have to go to war at all. Now, there'd be some citizen soldiers in with the Eldar, as well as kind of dedicated warrior temples. So if a craft world comes under threat, they will mobilize most of the population to get ready to go to war. But their technology is so good and their training is so decent that even citizen soldiers can be a match for most of the other armies out there in the 40K universe. What you have here is, of course, Wraithguard warriors, but every craft world. So craft world is essentially a spaceship that has a whole kind of civilization within it. So every craft world there'd be several craft worlds and they would have different, all Eldari, but they would have different cultures, different backgrounds and different focuses. So craft worlds, even though they're still a spaceship, are still large enough that they would all warrant their own individual army. And you would have here an example of some of the weapons or the vehicles that the Aeldari would have, such as the fire prism, which would be kind of tanks that would fire from a kind of either cannons or in some aspects a crystal if you played the Dark Crusade computer game. But you also have a little bit of lore here on the craft worlds themselves that are kind of made of psychoactive wraithbone, and that they kind of cruise through the galaxy at sublight speeds, so basically staying out of trouble and not annoying anyone. You have different types of craft worlds, so you have craft world Sam Han, where they take particular pride in their ancient traditions, and on the battlefield they are famed for their use of fast vehicles to strike swiftly and decisively. So Sam Han is probably the faction I will go for with this particular Combat Patrol, because that is the colour that you would see in the next 2 issues here. You've craft world Ulthwé, which keep an eye over the Eye of Terror and would be famed for their large number of seers and psychics. You have Yanden, which was one of the more populous craft worlds, or popular craft worlds in terms that they had a large population. But the Tyranids came along, so they actually have ghost warriors outnumber their actual living warriors, because so many of them got eaten. And you have Alatiak, which is a craft world whose Aeldari values strict adherence to their chosen discipline. Ironically, this has led to many of their number rejecting the role altogether and becoming outcasts. So that's interesting, because in the Warhammer 40K Rogue Trader computer game, you deal with an outcast, which is possibly associated with these guys. You have here a little bit of lore, just basically the galaxy at war, giving you kind of a status of the Imperium. So it's been split into 2, so you have Imperium Sanctus and Imperium Nihilus, because there was something called the Caledix Maledictum that literally split the universe in 2 and split the Imperium in half. So as you can see here, there's a big, interesting map of the 40K universe. So you would have Terra and the Ultramarines down on this side, and you'd have the Blood Angels and the second kind of part of the Imperium up here. So Imperium Nihilus and Imperium Sanctus. There is 1 or 2 points that they can cross and kind of converse with each other, but when the Caledix Maledictum spread across the universe, that was nearly it. It was only with the return of Rabute Gilliman, the Ultramarine Primarch, that was able to reunite and get the Imperium back up off its knees and back fighting again. You have different galactic war zones here. You have War Zone Bastier, the Nakmund Gauntlet, the Pariah Nexus, and the Chalnath Expanse. All cool kind of different war zones. You have Aldari characters here, so of course you have the Farseer, which kind of gives you a different aspect to his background depending on what you roll, and you have the Wraith Lord, which of course is kind of like a mech suit. You have here as well the initial rules for combat patrol. Now we have to remember that the whole aim of the magazine is to kind of give you a lot of combat patrols, so this is an important issue in the sense that it gives you the basis of how to actually play the game. Now the next 2 issues will be interesting ones because it comes with 10 Guardian Defenders and 1 heavy weapon platform. So I will probably stick to this particular color scheme because my Farseer happens to be in red, so it happens to match that particular craft world. So it would be craft world Saim Han that I'll be painting up with these guys, but I won't be painting them up with these paints because these are 2 distinctly different paints. Now I have used Everland Sunset before. It's a good base paint and it is a good solid yellow to work with. Yellow, being a lighter color, can be a hard one to kind of put on a lot of models, but this is a great base for it. So anytime I would be going for kind of a yellow or lighter color, say if it comes to Flame or say the Imperial Fists or something like that, that you would want a kind of a yellow base, this is a very good start to it. You also have here a Catachan Flesh, which is kind of a brown skin color, but I've seen it used for things like leather and just kind of, bags or kind of holsters, things like that. But again, another base paint and another very solid paint. So these are 2 very good paints that you get with issue 22 of Hachette Collections Combat Patrol. So as always, if you enjoy these videos, please like, subscribe, all that good YouTube stuff. And until next time, this is Sean from The Lucky Roll, signing off.